Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to be back with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now, let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. I'm also live over on YouTube as well. So if you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching me from. It's always kind of fun to see where everybody is joining each week. So it looks like I am live over on Facebook, so I hope you guys had a great weekend. I spent a whirlwind weekend flying to South Carolina and spending the night in the Dallas airport after my flight was canceled to South Carolina. My brother was sworn in as a judge in South Carolina on Thursday afternoon, and I made it to South Carolina, to his city, 2 hours before the event started, almost 24 hours after I left Tucson. So I'm so excited that I was able to make it in time to get him sworn in and just to spend some time with my family. I haven't seen my brother and older sister in a long time, and it was just great to have all my family together. So I hope you guys had a great weekend, especially a happy Mother's Day, late Mother's Day to all of those mothers out there, whether you are a traditional mother, stepmother, fill-in mother, or any kind of mother, fur mama, anything. Happy Mother's Day. You are loved and very much appreciated. So today I'm going to be creating 3 projects featuring the brand new Country Flowers bundle from the annual catalog. Annual catalog was released last week, so I think, did I do last week was my first Makers Monday? I think it was. This is my first bundle that I got from the new annual catalog. I got this back in March during a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator only event called Onstage. And so I'm excited to finally bring this to you and show all the fun projects that you can create with this, both masculine and feminine. This is more than just a floral stamp set that you may think of as your traditional flowers. I wanted to create both a masculine and a feminine project with this, so I am excited to share those with you here today. So hello, Molly, Janice, Dawn, Paula, Lisa, thank you. Barb, watching over on YouTube, thank you all for watching me here today. So let's go ahead and get started. I just have a couple quick announcements before I create my projects. So let's go ahead and swap the camera and we will get started. So the first thing I have is tomorrow, kicking off midnight Arizona time, which is Pacific time, is my May Moving Madness sale. So next month, I am moving cross country from Arizona to Rhode Island with my husband, who is in the military. And the Air Force says we have this little thing called a weight limit. And while I don't think we are super close to that weight limit, there's some things that I could get rid of, and I am excited to pass those on to other crafters. So the May Moving Madness sale, how it will work, is up on my website right now. You can see stampinblondie.com has all of the details on how the sale will work. So what you'll do is you'll place an order on my Stampin' Up! Website. There is a link on that link that you can go to. You can just click there, and for every $25 you spend in my store prior to shipping and tax, you get to claim an item from my May Moving Madness for free. So there is everything from die bundles, punch bundles, and stamp sets to choose from. Now, just a little note, the die bundles and the punch bundles do count as 2. So you would have to place an order of at least $50 to claim one of the bundles up on there. So May Moving Madness sale, these are all either brand new or well loved. I do take amazing care of my stamps and other products. So they are either used or brand new, and there's everything from Christmas, Halloween, birthdays, every kind of occasion that you can think of. Like I said, you can go on the website right now and check out all of the items that'll be available. Those items are first come, first serve. So once you place your order using that special host code that's on there, you'll have to send me an email at stampandblondie@gmail.com to claim the items that you would like. And then also, if you want them porch pickup here in Tucson, or if you would like them shipped. If you want them shipped, there will be a PayPal invoice sent to you to cover the shipping charges. But other than that, all items are first come, first reserve. If you are wanting them shipped, you have 24 hours to pay your invoice. If not, they will go back out for anybody to claim. So May Moving Madness sale, you can go to my website, check it all out. There's a great variety of supplies on there for everybody. And hopefully you find your next stamp set or die bundle or punch bundle that you get to create projects with. All right, next up we have Prize Patrol. So where is it? Right here. So last week, Prize Patrol, we had the 2023 new Core Colors Collection markers. What Prize Patrol is, all you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into Prize Patrol. So our winner for Prize Patrol last week was Carol Fremstad. I hope I'm saying your name right, Carol Fremstad. Carol, I have your address, so congratulations. Thank you for sharing my video. You are this week's Prize Patrol winner. Now, well, last week's Prize Patrol. This week's Prize Patrol is a 2-for. We have the Heartfelt Hellos stamp set. Now this coordinates with the Heartfelt Hexagons punch. And then also we have, these are the adhesive back faceted gems trio pack. Sorry, kind of a mouthful there. So it is a 2-for. You get both of these. All you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into Prize Patrol. So you get the Heartfelt Hello stamp set and the faceted gems. I knew somebody was gonna comment on the docs and post-it note. There we go. I got these for my birthday from Trisha from Butter Dish Designs. We co-hosted some events in the past, and she got me these little fun docs and post-it notes. So I thought I would pull one out for Makers Monday here today. All right, we are gonna jump into our projects. Like I said, today I am featuring the Country Flowers bundle, brand new bundle from the annual catalog. This is a set of 13 photopolymer stamps, meaning completely see-through and clear. You can see exactly where you're stamping. And here are the coordinating dies to go with it. Now, this stamp set has some images that are not in the stamp set. So this ring of flowers here, you have some of those same flowers here, and another one here. So you can die cut a bunch of the same size flowers all at the same time. And this is actually part of what is called a mega suite. So in the annual catalog on page 48 and 49, here's the spread for that. Let's get this out of the way. So the spread shows on page 50 and 51 the mega suite. So why it's called a mega suite is because there are 2 stamp sets and 2 bundles that coordinate with the products that are shown on page 51. So I will be using Country Flowers, but there's also Country Birdhouse up here. The beautiful Country Woods Designer Series paper. There's an embossing folder, some ribbon, some, these are the, Smoky Slate Pearls and Basic Gray and Smoky Slate Pearls. And then we have a whole nother Country Lace Designer Series paper. So 2 Designer Series papers, 2 rolls of ribbon, embossing folder, and pearls. Now, if you wanted everything on both pages, there is a number up here under the header where you can add that to your cart, and it adds every single thing on both pages. Of course, all of these items are available individually as well, but if you wanted everything, there's one number to be able to add all to cart. Now, yesterday on my Facebook page, I shared this card. Now this features that Country Woods Designer Series paper, the two images from the Country Florals, and then some petal pink cardstock and lemon lolly. It wasn't coming to mind. Lemon lolly. So I wanted to pull colors from the designer series paper and then bring in a pop of color with the lemon lolly. So the floral image here is colored with lemon lolly to coordinate with this cardstock right here. So this is kind of a more detailed card for those advanced crafters. But today we're going to be creating 3 other projects for kind of all skill levels. So some colors that I don't tend to usually work with, wild wheat. I've heard in the past that some people say this color tends to look like baby poop. But I like wild wheat for fall, but I also wanted to kind of use it right now to show that it can be an all year round color. So here is the card. I tied in some Moody Mauve just for a pop of that pink color. So wild wheat and Moody Mauve are the 2 colors on this project. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to create a masculine project. Now, I wouldn't say this sympathy card is super masculine. It can go both ways, masculine, feminine. Anybody could receive the sympathy card, but it doesn't really have any flowers or bows or anything like that. And the pop of that designer series paper there. And then this project here, this features 2 of the brand new in colors. We have Pretty in Pink and Peach Pie, and then also Lemon Lolly here as well for kind of a rainbow color effect on this one. So let's go ahead and get started. Now don't forget, each week on my website, stampinblondie.com, I have a free project PDF tutorial. Has all of the item numbers, prices, dimensions for the 3 projects that we are going to create here today. And if you wanted to create these projects, this week's host code for Makers Monday is the same host code for May's Moving Madness sale. So you can double dip, meaning if your order is $35 or more, you get this week's kit, which comes like this. And then if your order is $50 or more, you get the embellishment of the week, which is the iridescent foil gems. So, and then you could claim a bundle on my website as well for the May Moving Madness sale. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna create, let's move these off to the side. We're gonna create this project here first. Oh, Corinne, you are welcome. She said thank you for her happy mail. Thank you for sharing my video. So Corinne shared my video, so she won a prize patrol a while back, and so she got her prize patrol for that. So you are welcome. Thank you for sharing my video. So we have a piece of basic white cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we're just gonna put that off to the side for now. I'm gonna bring in a piece of scrap grid paper because we are gonna stamp these 3 pieces of cardstock with our ink, coordinating ink. So we've got Petal Pink, Peach Pie, and Lemon Lolly for our 3 colors today. And our stamp image is, let me make sure I'm getting the right one. This one right here. So the stamp I'm using, it's that one right here. Kind of has some florals, some ferns to it, but we're just gonna do some tone-on-tone stamping. So we have a piece of Pretty in Pink cardstock, and we've got Pretty in Pink ink. Now, when you stamp this, you will notice that the image compared to my sample, this is much darker. Now, as these colors dry, they will lighten up. So you may say, hey, that doesn't match. You don't really have too much tone on tone here. As it dries, it'll lighten up. So we're just gonna put that off to the side. Oh, actually, while we have our Pretty in Pink open, I'm also gonna stamp my sentiment that goes across the front. It says best friend ever. And we're gonna stamp that kind of towards the right side of our basic white cardstock, and we'll work on the rest of that part later. We can close up our Pretty in Pink, and we're gonna open our Peach Pie. We're gonna clean off our stamps. I've got my Stamp and Scrub right here. Hello. Hi, Joy. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Did anybody do anything exciting for Mother's Day? You go out to eat or you get some fun gifts. I am not a traditional mom, I would say. I'm a dog mom. I know it's totally not the same as being a real mom. But I got love and cuddles from my babies yesterday, so that was good for me. All right, so we've got our peach pie stamped. Now we can close this one up. And then our lemon lolly. I get to see my mom again in a couple weeks. I just saw her. She's watching here too. Hi, Mom. So we're going to Iowa in a few weeks to move some of our stuff there before the big move. And so I get to see my mom again in just a few weeks. I'm very excited about that. Okay, we have our 3 pieces of cardstock stamped. And what we're gonna do is, before we glue anything down, I like to take my 3 pieces and just align them to put them exactly where I want them first. I do this to ensure that my spacing is good first. And then if anything's not where I want it, then I can kind of shift and shimmy everything around. So we're gonna take our liquid glue. I like to use multi-purpose liquid glue for this because if it's not right where I want it, like again, I said, I have a few seconds to kind of move it into place right where I want it. So our peach pie. And our last one, lemon lolly. Lemon lolly isn't a color I use too often. I tend to stay within our brights color families, like our melon mambos, our daffodil delights, those really bright, fun colors. But for this one, daffodil delight was too bright, crushed curry was too dark, so lemon lolly was like the perfect color. All right, we have our stamped sentiment here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna flag the ends. So what I found, and I learned from a previous team member, is to get an even flag on both sides, take your paper snips, snip up the middle of your cardstock just a little bit, and then from corner to corner, if you snip right to the middle there, you will have the perfect flag on both sides. So just a little snip, corner to corner. If you were to try to eyeball this, your angles would be different on both ends. And so you wanna use that trick to make sure they're even. Okay, we are gonna take our Stampin' Dimensionals on here, but before we place it down, we're gonna peel the backing off, and we're gonna take some linen thread and kind of create this ribbon background here. So what I like to do is I like to take the ribbon, wrap it around my fingers a couple times, then snip it. Now we're gonna kind of pull some of this out. Oh, I should probably do it so you guys can see. And we're just gonna kind of place it on the dimensionals. Oh, it's all unraveling, so we're just gonna try to do this free-handed. And you just kind of take the ribbon back and forth on the dimensional to get it to stick, if it'll cooperate. There you go. Now, you can kind of play with it a little bit. It's not really working how I want it to, so let's start this over. All right. You want one end to kind of stick out, and then the rest of it, you just kind of want to loop and get it to stick here, loop again, stick here, loop again. I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do this, but this is how I have found works best for me. Then we're gonna place that onto our card, and then you can kind of play with it. I'm gonna trim this down a little and just kind of pull these out. Depending on how your ribbon is, like mine's starting to curl a lot, you can see that. You'll get these big curlies, but you can kind of play with the ribbon to get it to lay down. Now we're gonna come in with our embellishment of the week, the iridescent foil gems. Now, if you look at the PDF tutorial, you will notice that I used different embellishments on here. I realized after I completed my projects, took my photo, was working the PDF tutorial, that I used retired embellishments. So I switched it up and I put these iridescent foil gems on here, and they look actually better than the previous embellishments that I used. And here is our first card today, featuring the Country Flowers stamp set. We don't have any of the dies on here for this one, but this is the Country Flowers stamp set from the new annual catalog. I hope you guys like this one. This one is really fun, easy, bright, and just a lot of great colors on that one. So I hope you guys like that one. All right, our second project we're gonna do is this Wild Wheat and Moody Mauve card. So like I mentioned, wild wheat is not a color I tend to use very often outside of fall. I found this color works really good for fall projects when you pair it with Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, even crushed curry. So I wanted to work with this outside of fall and create more of a spring toned project that isn't your traditional. When you think of flowers, you don't think of wild wheat. You think of those bright, kind of subtle colors, but we're gonna do something a little different. So I have 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4, and then another piece of wild wheat cardstock, and I'm gonna bring back in my grid paper because we're gonna create our own kind of patterned background here. So it has these little stamps in the back. The stamp set comes with this little, I like to call it kind of a tile looking stamp. And that is really fun for creating background images on your card. So tone on tone stamping wild wheat with wild wheat cardstock. And we're just going to stamp some of these images in the upper left corner, and then some more in the lower right. Now, when you use this stamp, you have to be very gentle with it. It is thin. It's not a very big stamp, so you don't want to press too hard on your ink pad or you're going to get that halo effect. So just light taps on your ink pad, and that should be good. All right. Close that up. And we have 2 pieces of basic white cardstock. This is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 on both pieces here. And we're going to stamp the image twice, and we're gonna stamp it with this image right here. So you can kind of see it got some roses, some ferns, foliage in the background, but we're gonna stamp the image twice, and one of them we're gonna flip upside down. Now I'm using Tuxedo black ink, so just ink it up really well and stamp one. And we're gonna do the same thing on this one. And we're gonna color these in. Now, when I was thinking like, what's the best way to color these in, I didn't wanna do Stampin' Blends, because while I love Stampin' Blends, sometimes it can overpower the image, and this is such a teeny tiny little area that I just wanted to do like a suggestion of color on there. So bring in Stampin' Daubers. So if you've never used sponge daubers before, they're these little sponge appliques. They fit right on your finger. They're perfect. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my ink pad Moody Mauve, and we're just gonna lightly tap on the ink pad. I'm barely even touching the ink pad. Now I wanna kind of stamp off on my grid paper because I don't want the color to be super intense right away. But we're just gonna take the sponge dauber and just kind of lightly rub it over where those roses are. So you can see it gives just a little bit of color. Now I would like it just a little bit darker, so I'm gonna come in here. Now this is not meant to be a within the lines kind of thing. So if you're that type of person, maybe Stampin' Blends would be best for you. But this just gives a little bit of color. Oh, I put too much on that one. That's okay. But you can see as you build the color, you can get darker and darker if you want. We're gonna do the same thing with wild wheat. Sponge dauber. Just kind of dab it off to the side so I don't get too much here. And then just swirl it. So if you've used our Stampin' Blender brushes, kind of the same technique, but the brushes are a little bit bigger. But I just wanted, it's almost like you're using soft pastel chalks. So there we go. Now I like to, these sponge daubers, they come in a multi-pack, but I like to use one for each color so that I don't have to mix my inks all up. What I'll do is I'll take my label maker and I'll just put a label on each of these so that I know what color they're for, and then I have a case that I put them in. So you get quite a bit in the pack. We're gonna add these now to our card. So one is gonna be flipped upside down and the other is gonna go right side up. And we're gonna put the upside down one on first because the other one's gonna be layered on top. So that will go there. And then this other one is just gonna overlap just a bit in that lower corner right there. So you have this here. I have a piece of Moody Mauve cardstock and my sentiment says sending love. We're just gonna use Tuxedo Black ink for that. So that's gonna go right in the middle of that. And then we're gonna cut the angles, or cut the edges at an angle for this. So just take your scissors, cut here, and cut there. Okay, now we can assemble our card. So this background piece here is going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. So because this is bigger, I'm going to add a dimensional in the middle as well. I feel like wild wheat gets a bad rep sometimes. And this color is part of the 2023-2025 in colors. So they'll stick around for another year. Next year they'll retire. So I feel like I haven't been giving those colors a lot of love, so I wanted to kind of highlight them a little bit. Our sentiment is also going to go on with dimensionals, and that'll go right there. We're going to come in with 3 of the small iridescent gems, and kind of put 2 here, 1 down here, and here is our second project today, featuring the Country Flowers stamp set. Again, no dies were used on this one, just the stamp set, but a really quick and easy project for whatever skill level you are. Anybody can use the sponge daubers to kind of create that colored in image. So I hope you guys like the Wild Wheat Moody Mauve. Kathy says she likes it. I love it too. All right, and our last project today, we're gonna create that sympathy card. Now, sympathy cards are ones that nobody ever likes to make. Nobody ever wants to have to give a sympathy card, but they're nice to have on hand for when those times are needed. So we have a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Use our bone folder here to crisp up the line. And I have a piece of that Country Woods Designer Series paper. Look at the back side of that. Even the back side is beautiful. I had a hard time trying to figure out what side I wanted to use, but I didn't want to take away from the stamped image. I felt like this color back there would take away too much from it. So I went with the muted side on this one. And we're gonna add this with liquid glue. Okay, I was just using you. There we go. And this is gonna go on at an angle, just a slight angle, not too much. We have a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. I don't tend to use Very Vanilla very often. I tend to reach for basic white, but I felt like the white was just too bright for this card with that Designer Series paper and Misty Moonlight, so I opted for Very Vanilla. We're gonna use this kind of, I'll show you on the stamp set, this like bucket kind of stamp, and then the fern here. So we're gonna stamp the bucket first, and because we're gonna use Stampin' Blends, we're gonna use Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm gonna stamp it just a little bit lower than my sample because it did cut off the fern there. So I don't wanna do that. And I'm gonna ink this up and stamp the fern. There we go, got the whole thing in there. Okay, also while we have our ink pad open, we're gonna stamp our sentiment. This is Lost Lagoon cardstock, and it says with heartfelt sympathy, and we're gonna stamp that right in the middle. And then we can close that up. Now for the fern, we are gonna use Lost Lagoon and Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends. Ties in the color of our cardstock and also the color of the designer series paper in the background. So everything has a purpose of why it was kind of chosen for the colors. We're gonna start with our dark crumb cake. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna follow the edge of the bucket to kind of give some shadow and highlight here to the bucket. And then we're gonna come in with our light crumb cake Stampin' Blend, and we're gonna color in the whole bucket here. Now I realized while I was making this sample that I need a new crumb cake Stampin' Blend, so add that to my next list. Okay, quick and easy, and then you have that kind of dark and light of your bucket. Now for the fern, we're gonna take the dark Lost Lagoon, and we're just gonna follow the outline in the middle, these kind of like vein pieces of the fern in the dark. So right there, here, and there. And we'll color it in with the light Lost Lagoon. Now in the background there are the little stems, so don't forget to color those in. Peggy, I like this set though. I'm still not really hip on the wheat. The wild wheat does take some getting used to. I will admit it is not my favorite Stampin' Up! Color, but I have it, I want to use it, I want to give it some love in different ways. But you could use that same layout, just choose a different color scheme. You could do Misty Moonlight with the Moody Mauve, looks really good, the Lost Lagoon. So you could still do a couple of different color patterns with it if wild wheat isn't your thing. Okay, and then our last fern here. There we go. Okay, we're gonna get this out of the way. So we're done with that. And now we're gonna add our piece here. And this is gonna go at an angle as well. It's gonna go at an opposite direction than our designer series paper. And our sentiment piece, we're gonna flag the end. Now this piece is gonna go on straight, so it's gonna look crooked when you put it on, but this piece is straight where everything else is crooked. So we're gonna have it hang off the side a little bit, and if you have, let me trim this down some. If you have a hard time with these being crooked, trying to figure out if this sentiment piece is straight, just kind of use the bottom of your card as your guide. So we're gonna add this on. This is gonna go on with just liquid glue. No dimensionals on this project. And it's gonna hang off the side of those two papers, and then that's gonna be straight. Now this one I wanted to use a little bit extra bling. So we have some of the iridescent foil gems down here, and then 3 on this side. Hello, Jill. Right. I think the wheat would look great with that blue. This, yes. So here's Wild Wheat, and here is Misty Moonlight, and you could even bring in Moody Mauve. This is a really good color scheme as well. So here's what I did on the project. You could even bring in this Misty Moonlight and create a really good color scheme. So give Wild Wheat a chance. Wild Wheat is not one of my favorite colors, but I've used it for a touch of gold look. Yes, it is a great gold. I wish it was like kind of metallic-y, but still, it's a great gold color. All right, so here we have our last project today featuring the Country Flowers stamp set. Really fun and easy project, kind of that masculine side. It's not overly floral, and but very easy and fun to create. No matter what skill level you are, you can create this project as well. All right, I'm gonna bring in all 3 projects today. Let me know which one is your favorite. We have our Misty Moonlight sympathy card, our Wild Wheat and Moody Mauve, and then also our in color card here with Pretty in Pink and Peach Pie. So let me know which one is your favorite here today. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. I just wanted to give a little heads up on some upcoming Makers Monday changes. Now, next week will be my last Makers Monday for a while. Towards the end of next week, I will be traveling to Iowa to move stuff. Come back beginning of June, and then the movers come the following week. So unfortunately, Makers Monday will have to take a little bit of a hiatus from crafting. I'll still try to do some Makers Monday pop-ins as I am on the road and getting settled into the new house. I look forward to creating with you again next week. And don't forget, May's Moving Madness sale starts tomorrow. All the details are in the link in the description of this video. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Bye!